Hello, everyone. Thank you to be here, and I'm glad to see you now attending this meeting. I'm Matteo Sagnelli, and I'm in charge for the OTOMO part of product for Eelectron ESPA. Today, the agenda is made by an OTOMO introduction, in which I will talk about all the OTOMO features that are now currently available, and then what's new, in which we can talk about the new evolution of the system and the new feature of OTOMO. At the end, there will be a Q&A in which you can send me all your questions. I will reply to all your questions. For those who don't know who Eelectron is, we are a family company founded in 1994, based in Milan, and with more than 750 guest room management systems installed all over the world. We control more than 36,000 rooms in hotels, residential, condominium, and also public projects. We do manufacture and ideate our product here in Italy, and our solutions are suitable from simple to premium projects as offices, hospital, etc. Having offices in Spain, Middle East, and Asia, our solutions are sold and installed in more than 80 countries all over the world with 100% testing in our factory and with full assistance that goes from design phase through after sales. Eelectron is also a KNX member of the association since 2005 and participating actively in the KNX technical board and also as an official KNX training center. With a strong development of our product with an eye on customization, Eelectron continued to delivering its path of innovation following its evolution on a KNX protocol and also new technology, because since 2016 we are expanding our solution with the BLE IoT devices and mobile devices application. We have a wide portfolio ranging from our awarded design switches such as the 9025, 3025 and Eelecta push button, going to the new multi-controller, the multi-sensor family, the actuator range, the KNX secure devices, guest room management system that which we did the webinar last week that you can find on our YouTube channel, our HMI and supervision devices, and today, as I mentioned before, I want to present you our OTOMO family of products. Now, I want to start with a brief recap about the devices that are available now. So, what it is OTOMO? OTOMO is a system that is suitable for offices. So the main target of OTOMO are the offices and allow the user to easily manage lighting and shading control in offices and other spaces. We control all the environment devices based on automatic scenarios based on a qualified presence. What it is, the qualified presence? A qualified presence is the strong point of OTOMO. So OTOMO knows who is inside which area and detect a specific presence of a specific user. So by using the Bluetooth of the smartphone or of the beacon, as we can see later, the OTOMO knows which user is inside and can trigger a specific scenario based on the qualified presence. But of course, the occupant can make his own variation with the mobile application, switching on and off some lights and moving the shutter in a manually mode. We decided to use the Bluetooth instead of other protocols for a lot of reasons. One of them is that the Bluetooth drain a lot less power than from the smartphone than the Wi-Fi. We did a lot of testing here in Eelectron with the University of Milan, the Polytechnic of Milan, and we are compliant with the efficiency class A of the European standard. That means OTOMO can save up to 33% of office lighting. Since we try to design OTOMO in best user-friendly way, you can configure and use all the OTOMO devices directly from the same application. So there's no need of a complex PC-based software or other type of tools. You can do everything directly from your application, from the startup to the maintenance to the daily use of the system. OTOMO, as I mentioned before, is a lighting and shading control system, and we have also a different environmental sensor in the lineup of the product, as we can see in the next slide. We use the Bluetooth technology to let the devices communicate by each other, but also we empowered that technology with our mesh protocol to enable the exchange of information in an autonomous way from the devices. This system is cloud connected, so the application speaks directly to the Automo cloud to update the network configuration. And as I mentioned before, you can find the Automo application both on Android and Apple Store for tablet and smartphone. This is the range of product of Automo. The first device that you can see is the DALI device, which has two different DALI channels in which you can connect up to 8 DALI ballast per each channel, and the two channels are broadcast. This is, let's say, how we want to see this system. So you have to install the different devices as close as possible to the load that you have to control. In this way, you create a mesh network of Automo devices that can exchange in an efficient way information by themselves. This device also is equipped with two 16 amps relay. So with just one device, you can control one office unit made by two different lighting zones and, for example, a shutter. Next, there's the in-wall I/O family of modules, I/O 42, 41, and 40. All those three devices have 4 input, 2 analog input in which you can connect the next device, which is the brightness and temperature sensor, and 2 digital input in which you can connect 2 traditional push buttons to control other Automo devices. The three devices are different from the output side. The I/O 42 has 2 10 amps relay, the 41 one 10 amp relay, and the 40 just the 4 input. Next, we see the brightness and temperature sensor, the ceiling mounting one that you can connect directly to the I/O family of modules. And then we have the traditional presence detector. But why we have a traditional presence detector if we use a Bluetooth qualified presence technology? Because during the development, we decided that since this system is suitable for offices, in offices, typically there are a lot of spaces in which you host some guest meeting rooms or corridors. So in that specific area, you can connect a traditional presence detector directly to the DALI Automo module to reach the same level of comfort that you can reach with the Bluetooth qualified presence, but also with a traditional presence detector. Next, we can see the beacons. The beacons are the key holders that can substitute the smartphone for the Bluetooth presence detection function. You can configure them to trigger specific scenario based on the presence of them or not. The last device is our table lamp equipped with the brightness and temperature sensor on top of it. Since there are a temperature sensor on top of it, you are measuring the temperature on the desk of the employee and not far away in the office. So you know exactly which is the temperature in that specific desk. And the brightness sensor, which is on top of the lamp, measures the brightness at the same height of the human eyes sit on a desk. The first evolution that is already available of Automo is the Automo Xk3 Gateway. As you already know, we are a KNX manufacturer for more than 20 years. This device can let Automo and KNX devices interoperate with each other. In this way, you can reach new level of projects that without this device, with the two different standalone systems, you couldn't reach. We add the temperature control to Automo solution, since this device is a fully functioning KNX thermostat. In this way, you can install, for example, Automo devices to control lighting and shading, and also the push button, for example, with the Automo push button interface. But you can manage the temperature control from Automo with the Automo application, and since this is a KNX thermostat, and the actuation of the thermoregulation logic will be done by KNX devices. So as you can see in the application, we put new pages, new part of the application that can control the thermoregulation and all the thermostat logic of this device. We also extend the qualified presence feature of Automo to the KNX network. So this device is also a BLE qualified presence detector. You can configure it to react to the presence of a specific Automo user and send a specific telegram to the KNX network. In this way, you can trigger KNX scenarios based on the presence of Automo users. And this is a really powerful tool. Here you can see the structure of what you can do with the Automo KNX Gateway. So as you can see here, we have Automo standalone with all the Automo devices. And if we add the Automo KNX Gateway, we can empower the Automo part with all the feature that KNX brings to us. So the thermoregulation, heating actuators, 9025 thermostat, and so on. And also we can control the entire solution, so both the OTOMO devices and KNX devices, from a single point, which can be the Horizon web server. So we can optimize the bus cabling for the KNX by empowering the KNX bus with the OTOMO devices and the Bluetooth mesh communication. Here you can see a different type of structure that you can do with OTOMO and KNX devices at the same time. So, for example, you can create different OTOMO areas for the different floors and link all the OTOMO areas with the KNX devices, as you can see here. And of course, it's suitable not only for a single tenant office, but also a multi-tenant building, because the different OTOMO areas cannot interoperate by each other autonomously. And a user that can control one area cannot control another OTOMO area if it's not specifically allowed to control that area by the installer or the owner of that area. Now you can see the last OTOMO device that we present in November, which is the OTOMO IP Modbus Gateway. This device, like the KNX one, is, let's say, multiple device in a single enclosure, because it's an OTOMO IP gateway that can allow the user to remotely control the OTOMO implant by the OTOMO application with no change in the user experience by controlling the system by the smartphone through the Bluetooth or through the Wi-Fi and internet communication, and also allow the user to receive simple statistics such as how many hours a light was on or off, temperature average, and so on, directly on the OTOMO application. But this device is also an OTOMO Modbus Gateway that allow OTOMO networks to be easily integrated into supervisory and control system that can speak in Modbus, for example. And this is a Modbus TCP client. So with this one, you can integrate OTOMO into Modbus supervisory systems. All those devices and all those features that I present you until now has already been presented. And now I would like to show you all the novelties of the OTOMO family of product, all the new features that will be available in the next month. With the IP gateway, as I mentioned before, you can remotely control the implant. In this part of the slide, you see the smartphone directly connected to the Bluetooth of the devices. But by putting the OTOMO IP Modbus Gateway, you can connect directly to the IP communication of the Modbus IP OTOMO Gateway, and there's absolutely no difference in the user experience. The user don't know if the application is communicating with OTOMO devices from Bluetooth or IP communication. This is a type of structure that we can reach, for example, with the Modbus part of the gateway. So on the right, you can see OTOMO in standalone version. And by putting an OTOMO IP Modbus, you can connect it to a Modbus supervisory system or a Modbus master, in this case, Horizon. And you can supervise all OTOMO devices. You can control them, you can receive the status, and all, let's say, supervision function. As you can see here, we have an abstract of what are the Modbus registers of this device, but of course you can find more details inside the user manuals about all the register and how to configure either the IP part of this device or Modbus part. Here, as you can see, we have a structure of a typical office with different areas, corridors, open spaces, or unit offices, and so on. And with a single OTOMO IP Modbus gateway, we can connect the OTOMO network in the same time, so you don't have to decide to use the IP part of the Modbus part. You can do it at the same time. So in this way, we are controlling the device from the IP part of the OTOMO application and also from a Modbus supervisory system. A new evolution of OTOMO that will be available in a month is a new app enhancements starting from the push button. We decided to add more feature to the push button of OTOMO, and the first one is the toggle. As you can see on the slide, now we can select not only on and off function, but also the toggle. Toggle means that you can control the on and off commands of a light from a single push button. So you don't have to configure two different push buttons to control a single relay. But we don't stop here on the evolution of the push button, because also we evolved the push button to control the DALI devices. So we add the relative dim function. So now you can control the DALI devices by pressing push button and increase or decrease the percentage of the DALI device by pressing the push button. So for example, in this case, you can increase to each press of the push button by 10%, or by pressing the other, you can decrease the percentage of the DALI by 10%. We decide to let the user to use the toggle function to control the DALI. In this case, you can select toggle function, and if it is a DALI, you can select also the percentage to which the device should toggle. For example, of course, the 0 for the off. But as you can see on the right part of the slide, you can see that there are a percentage. So the first one is 40%. So by pressing that push button, the device will toggle between 0% and 40%. So it's up to you decide the percentage of the toggle function. But also we are evolving all the scheduler part of the devices, the timers and the scenarios. Now, the timer part of the scheduler is more complete. You can create multiple events during the day and decided a specific behavior of that single event. You can create virtually an unlimited amount of events during a single day for a weekly calendar. For the presence detection, you can set the proximity range, in this case for Monday from 0 to 24, and you can select the behavior of the device for that specific presence detection range. In this case, it's a DALI, and we select a specific percentage in which the DALI should go on once the presence is detected. And last, now we can select timers, events at a range of 1 minute, so super precise timers events. Now, I want to share you a demo of how to configure an OTOMO network and how to control all the new features and how to configure them.
Hello everyone, this is a video showing how to configure an OTOMO network, including the two OTOMO gateways, the KNX OTOMO 1 and the IP Modbus 1, and how to set all the new features, such as the new toggle and dimming feature and the evolution of the scheduler, both in timer and proximity functions. To create a new network, you have to press the plus button on the bottom of the page, and then you have to write the name of the network, in this case, demo network. Then press step 2, and now add a new area. In this case, I will add two different areas, area 1 and area 2. After that, you have to press step 3, and now you have to add the different devices by pressing the plus button. First one will be the IO42, scan the QR code, and then associate the device to the specific area, in this case area 1. Press OK, and configure the device in its proper way, in this case shutter 1. Plus button again, and now the second device, which is the DALI device. Scan the QR code, and put in the same area, in this case, which is area 1. Press OK, and now we will configure the device by pressing the merge enable white and then end. The last device that I want to add now is the Automo KNX Gateway. So by pressing the same plus button, I will write the name and then scan its QR code. Put again in the same area and press OK. Now, all the configuration you can do are enabling the thermostat and temperature and brightness sensor. In this case, I won't do any configuration since I won't only use the gateway function. Press end and then press users, select your user and associate all the areas and devices that you want. In this case, only area 1. As you can see, if I select area 1, all the devices associated to that area will automatically associate to my account. Now I will press back again and send the configuration. First of all, publishing on the cloud, and then sending through the Bluetooth to the OTOMO devices. As you saw, I configured an OTOMO KNX gateway through the OTOMO application. I previously configured that gateway on the ETS part to enable a 9025 push button to control the shutter. So as you can see here, I'm controlling the OTOMO shutter via our 9025 KNX push button. With the Automo Xk3 Gateway, I will be able not only to control the Automo shutter, but also the Automo dolly, the J-key, and to receive from Automo to the KNX bus all the information from the different environmental sensors, such as brightness and temperature levels. Now I came back inside the configuration menu of the IO42, and by pressing input 1, I can select which device control with the input of the IO42. In this case, I want to control the light connected to the IO41 in on, off, or toggle mode. In this case, I select toggle mode, so I can do on-off by the single push button. Now, in the IO41 page, I want to control with the input the dolly to enable white. In the same way, I can select on, off, toggle, and toggle I can select also the percentage, and also relative dim. In this case, I will increase the percentage of the light by pressing input 1, and decrease by pressing input 2. Now I came back, send the configuration. Now I want to set a timer scheduler on the dolly device. In this case, I have to press timer, and now I can select by pressing time the exact time of this specific event, in this case 8 AM. Now I can select the percentage at which the dolly should go on at that specific hour. Now if I press add again at the bottom of the page, I can select a second event during the same day, in this case 18, and I will select 0%, so at that time the dolly will switch off. I can select multiple events during the day. Now I can change day from Monday to Tuesday, and I can add the same timer or at different hours and behaviors at my preferences. And as you can see, you can create all the events that you want and prefer during a single day. To add the Automo IP Modbus Gateway, you have to go back inside the configuration menu of the application and press plus in the device page and select first of all the name of the device, in this case Automo IP Modbus. Second, you have to scan the QR code on top of the device. Now, step 2, you don't need to configure any specific output of the device, since you only have to put it in the network and associate to a specific area and then send the configuration. In this way, you configure the device on the Automo part. This will allow you to control remotely your implant directly from the Automo application with no other devices or web page needed. I asked my colleague to associate my account to our Dubai office area. I changed page to refresh the network page, and now the Dubai page appears. I select that network to show you that in that network there is configured an Automo IP Modbus Gateway. So now I will enter in the user part of that network, and I show you that I can see directly from the Automo application all the different devices, in this case the shutter in the corridor or all the lighting in the open space. And as you can see, I can see the status and interact with those devices with no problem at all. And the user experience by controlling the devices from the Bluetooth of the smartphone or the IP communication through the Automo Gateway is absolutely the same, with no difference at all. I want to thank you everybody to be here, and I hope that you enjoyed the demo as much as I did by doing it. Thank you everybody.
Okay, here with me I have the Automo IP Modbus Gateway. So as you can see, those are the size of this device. It's a really small device, and the only port that you can see are the Ethernet port and the USB port for charging of the device. But of course, you can also connect this device to the internet through the Wi-Fi. It's not mandatory to have an Ethernet cable. On the next slide, I want to present to you what we can expand more, the communication and the connectivity of Automo with this device, because as always, we have our Automo standalone devices and Automo standalone network, but with the Automo IP Modbus, we can also connect Automo devices to the Eelectron cloud. And this type of structure allows the user to have access to the Eelectron dashboard. Also, we can connect Automo to the dashboard, and the Eelectron dashboard will allow the user to remotely supervise the entire system, create statistics and reports about the entire network in a more complete way. And of course, this structure will allow the user to remotely control also the implant from the Eelectron dashboard. But also, another important thing is that this connection allows the user to control the Automo devices from vocal assistants, such as Google Home and Alexa. As you can see here, we have our Alexa skill, for example, for both the smartphone, Android and iOS. And if you create the Eelectron account on our webpage and connect the Eelectron account to the Automo App Gateway, you will connect the Eelectron network, in this case the Alexa vocal assistant. The same path can be followed to configure the Google Home Assistant. Now you can see the different pages of the dashboard. The first one is a recap of the network, the IP address of the gateway, the BLE MAC address of the gateway itself, and some recap information of the network, number of devices, and so on. In the next image, you see that we can control different Automo devices from that dashboard. We can see the status, we can change the behavior of these devices directly from this dashboard. And remember, it's a web-based dashboard. Now, with this dashboard, we can create also statistics. In this case, the different temperature and brightness during the day or during a week, light device is on or off, and so on. So a super complete dashboard that allows the user to create interesting statistics and reports. All the devices, the system component, and the Automo introduction are currently in stock and available for the purchase. The Automo IP Modbus device with all the features of remote control from the Automo application and all the Automo App Enhancements and also the Automo Dashboarding and Vocal Assistance will be available starting from the 31st of July 2021, of course. I also want to remember that we have, for testing and display purpose, a different type of kits that you can have. The first one is our starter kit. It's made by the table lamp with the brightness and temperature sensor, the beacon, the DALI, and the AO42 module. So with these 4 devices, you can fully test and understand all the capabilities and the features of this system. The second type of the starter kit is different from the sensor part. We substitute the J-key lamp with the ceiling mounting brightness and temperature sensor. But in the same way, if you buy one of the 2 kits, you can buy the gateway, both one or 2 or both at the same time, at a super special price. So don't miss the chance to test Automo in its complete way. To know the special price and the offer, ask to your nearest Eelectron contact all the information about this kit. With the first starter kit, you can also order this dispenser of Eelectron information, so you can have all the information to share with your contact of Automo in a compact and easy way. I also want you to know and want to remember that we have our Eelectron YouTube channel in which you can find all the previous webinars, both the Eelectron webinars and the specific one for Automo. Automo has a specific LinkedIn page and website, otomo.cloud and otomo.app, in which you can find all the information related to Automo, such as datasheets, magazine article regarding Automo, and so on. So please go there and check all the information about Automo. We have the new leaflet of Automo with all the new information and the new features. And also we have the Automo demo case ready to be purchased. So you can have this one for testing or display purpose. So this is a complete, fully functioning Automo demo case. I also remember you that on our YouTube channel, we have both in Italian and English version, the demo on how to configure this demo case if you have purchased and you want to know how to configure it and all the information about it. Thank you to attend this meeting. I think that we can finish this webinar, and I would like to say to you, thank you everyone, and have a good day.